guys? It's the fifth child here. I haven't made a video in a long time for this channel, but today's the day that Charlie Kirk got murdered, and I'd like to start by saying, Baruch Dayan Emet. It's the Hebrew equivalent of rest in peace, kind of, for Charlie Kirk. One of the reasons I'm making this video is because I'm really feeling, I'm finding it very hard to control my emotions at this moment. I consider Charlie Kirk to be a great ally to this country, to Israel, to those of us that are conservative in nature. And I just want to pose a question. Our colleges have been overrun by this extreme leftist agenda to where they're producing adults that have no concept of reality. You've got an entire wing of the government, and I'm nonpartisan. I'm not Republican or Democrat, but I am highly conservative. So you've got an entire wing of the government that is catering to people with mental illnesses. Okay? People that will scream to take our guns away. But if you look at all the shooters in these mass shootings, they're all Democrats. That's a red flag immediately. But so our colleges are overrun with this leftist agenda, which produces adults that cater to a false reality. This is a domestic threat to our country. An increasing domestic threat. So my question, and this is going to be controversial, I'm sure, but my question, I don't have that many followers, but if any of you are on here and you're a rational thinker, help me. Because I'm having a real hard time keeping my emotions in check, and I'm usually pretty good at that. But at what point do you have a revolution? At what point do you see the coming and pending destruction of what we call the United States, the American dream, and decide enough is enough? We had people running up in the Capitol building, and yeah, they terrified everybody, but then, the majority of them got arrested and tried and so on and so forth. Like, look, we don't work for the government. The government works for us, according to our Constitution. So if the government is doing things that we don't like, it's our right to run up in the Capitol building. I personally feel like they didn't take it far enough. What did you run up in there for? There were reasons, right? Detain these people. Put them on trial. Now you're on trial. Because you're exercising your rights as sovereigns of the United States of America. We confuse ourselves with citizens. We're not citizens of the United States of America. We are sovereigns of the United States of America. It is our right, when you're not doing your job in the government, to get rid of you. When voting doesn't work, look, let's keep it real. How many elections have been rigged? How many times have the Democrats used dead people for votes? We already know it's not fair. We already see what's going on. We already know. So at what point do we say enough is enough? And you've got everybody on the right wing and the left wing saying, we're against any kind of political violence at all, which we should be. Look, if we were supposed to be against any type of political violence at all, we'd still be part of England. We'd be a colony larger than its mother country. So I don't necessarily agree with that. At a certain point in time, the threat is large enough that it needs to be dealt with. Charlie Kirk had some controversial issues that he talked about regularly. But he did just that. He talked about it. He went to campuses and he gave everybody a fair opportunity to speak their side. He demolished them every time, because if you're a radical leftist, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. If you can't figure out if you're a male or a female or a cat or a pony, you have a mental disability. And we have an entire wing of the government that's promoting mental disabilities. And they want us all to be mentally unstable. I would ask you, why is that? Some of you probably know the answer to that. I'm not going to get into that. So I just want to ask you, where are we? Where are we right now in this country? Where do we stand? Are we there yet? Are we not quite there yet? Are we nowhere near like a revolution? The name of this channel is The Resistance. Okay? And the point of that is that we are a resistance to all that is evil. And I can tell you that the majority of the world is vastly evil and unfair, bullying, nobody cares about anybody. Nobody lifts a finger to help anybody. It's in the scripture it says, that men will be lovers of themselves. We're definitely there. So if you don't mind, take a moment and respond to me and just tell me, where are we from your point of view? What should I be feeling right now? Because if you go along with the majority, you're not a leader, you're a follower. I've never been a follower. And you can ask anybody that knows me. That's not me. That's not me. So, do we need someone to rally up? Do we need someone to lead the charge? Because I'm like this freaking close. I'm really, really, really sad and upset and pissed off. And my love and my prayers go out to the Kirk family. And whoever it was that shot him, man, I hope they skin you alive and pour honey on you and throw you into a pile of freaking army ants. So I'm sorry. I know this is a negative video. It's the first one I've made in a long time. I just felt, that, it's not really up to me to be a teacher. I mean, other people feel differently about that. But it was my ultimate decision to just, chill for a while, focus on some music. I own a company that I'm constantly working on. By the way, I'm fresh out of work. So forgive me for not, making myself more pleasant to look at. But, right now, I honestly don't care. I'm very disturbed about, what took place today in Utah, of all places, Utah is a pretty conservative location. It's really sad, really sad. But just tell me where you think we are. Tell me how you think I should be feeling and what you think my actions should be. I'd really love some feedback because I need some. I definitely need some. And a lot of my peers, I mean, they feel the same way I do. So we're pretty much ready to saddle up and ride out. And I don't know exactly what that would entail, but, we're sick of it all. Enough is enough. So please tell me your thoughts. Help me be rational. Please, because I'm not positive at this moment that I can be rational. And maybe I am rational. Maybe we are in the trouble that I think we're in. Maybe we are. You got this Ukraine stuff, the Israel war, all the crap that's been happening here, all the attacks, people setting people on fire in Colorado for supporting Israel, shooting Charlie Kirk, they shot Trump. At what point is enough enough? And we start cutting the cancer out of the patient. Please tell me your thoughts. I'd really love to hear them. Be nice, please. And thank you guys for tuning in. You have a good one.